What is going on, everybody? Your McLaren Speed Shop World Champion coming at you with just a little update vid of, I guess, my plans for RP Law in the future and like my current personal build. So I'll start it with the build stuff. So this is the build I am running right now. So even in like the videos, you're gonna see me use a bunch of different RP Law builds. However, this is my personal build as of right now, and that's what I'm going to be using and stuff like that. But I'm still going to completely be trying out other stuff because I really think it's a bad idea to get set on like one build and then get locked into certain things, because like trying so many different things has opened up a bunch of different avenues and stuff for me, and experimenting around has just been fun and stuff like that. And then with the future of RP Law videos, because I do plan to continue like the in-depth guides and stuff like that. However, for those I feel like to work the best, I'm probably gonna narrow it down to focusing on mostly from like my POV and like my build, just so I can get through more leaders and show you guys, like, no matter what build you use, like being able to use the same deck against every leader. So that's kind of what my plan is. So you'll probably be seeing in the in-depth videos from now on probably something similar to this. It might be the numbers and stuff might play around, so it might switch around. If that happens, I'll let you guys know, obviously. And then if not, it'll be just kind of chilling like this. But yeah, that's my plan. I'm going to try to, we'll see. Enel will definitely be the next in-depth one. It just depends on some time and stuff. So I just got to work out that. But we're going to, Enel will be next. How to beat that, which will be fun. I'm looking forward to diving into that and actually like showing you guys all my notes and reads and stuff like that of beating Enel, because Enel's an interesting one where you just have to make just kind of constant adjustments, almost like turn by turn sometimes, and just depending on what you see from them. So it'll be fun to dive into that. But yeah, breaking down my build again, a little different key things, and I'll break into my reasoning. Obviously the thing that stands out, I'm assuming you guys see, is Rush Luffy. I just love this card. And I don't have Kid in this deck because I want to put Rush Luffy in because I just want to fly at people. I'd like it's a great ending game card. And for this build, I've got it geared around like being able to have sort of like unblockable end games and different avenues. And the reason I don't have Kid is because Kid is a great card. If you love Kid and you want to use Kid and you feel better with the blocker, totally like dumpster Rush Luffy. Put in Kid, get rid of some other cards. You can run as many Kids as you want, like all the way up to like 4. It doesn't really matter, because again, outside of the core structure, like your Otama, a few Sanjis, if you like Zorojuro, the boys here, Law, Beppo, and then a mixture of events at some point, and then yeah, Gordo. All the other cards that are like what I have here, Ain, Uta, Luffy. Like, you can completely swap those out with, like, anything, like, whatever your build is, because I know, like, a lot of people are chilling with, like, the events and stuff now. Was it, like, all-star, or performer, lead performer? If it'll load. Like, I've seen people using this just because, you get to draw a card and add a Don as active, which is... It's pretty good, and the trigger is amazing. Like, if you hit this off trigger, it's nuts. So if you like this card, it's totally viable. Again, number one rule with RP Law: find something that you like, a build that you're comfortable with that fits your personal playstyle. Because RP Law, I honestly don't think there's going to be like a one-set build with this deck that just like solves everything. I don't think it's possible because of the fact of like how all the other top decks, like the Sakazuki to Enel, like they have the search options, which is huge. We don't have that. There's just not enough Heart Pirate type cards. Like even if you want to run the search law, like for like even for events, we only have the one Heart Pirate, the Gamma Knife, and then we only have a limited amount of characters too. It doesn't really give you a whole lot of options with everything else. So with that, I feel like RP Law right now just depends on you as a player. It's pretty much like the anti-deck, where you can build RP Law to absolutely dummy like any deck in the game. Like if you can make a build that completely destroys Sakazuki. However, like the advantages and disadvantages of RP Law is if you do that to just only beat Sakazuki, you'll probably just get smoked by like Enel. So it's like finding a balance that works for you is like the biggest thing, because it really just depends on who you're playing. Like RP Law, you just have to be willing to adjust like your game plan and strategy, because it almost like depending on who you're playing, we don't have a direct setup, so you have to completely change your play style against everybody, because you're gonna play like, even though the overall dynamics with Sakazuki and Enel are kind of similar with like going down in life, like Sakazuki, you want to drop down, it's okay to drop down to 2, you don't have to. Enel, you like have to drop down to 2 as fast as possible. However, then if you're playing like Purple Luffy or RP Luffy or Whitebeard, life then becomes like key, and you need to keep as much life as possible to like survive their late game like big hits. So like against like Purple Luffy, you gotta stay at least at 2 life for turn 5 and later, like potentially even like turn 4 if they ramp up and drop Kaido right away. Like it's super key, and you just have to completely switch around. But yeah, this is my current little build that we're going with, because the reason why I got rid of Kid is because I'm using Ain right now. So that now I have Ain, the boys, and Beppo, who are all able to allow me to play, like prioritize getting bodies out. So obviously Ain is like the least, like sort of the softest one, because you only get the on play, and like Beppo, you get the 1 and you get 2 while attacking. But it just gives you, at least it's been given to me more, so now I can drop any of our other characters, like Law, Uta, Zoro, like Film Law, or like anybody, and then still bring in Ain. And Ain is kind of nice too, because like if you're operating in like mid-range or like higher Dawn, Ain's ability just straight up doesn't have any other, like you don't have to have like the 3 or less, or you don't have to have just less than, like you with a Beppo, it's just straight up you just get 1. So that's what's kind of cool. And 2, depending on who you're playing, being able to play around like dropping Ain and then getting out Ain or Ace, especially if you're able to do it quick, is pretty game breaking. And there's not a lot of people, if you're able to hit Ain to Ace like early in the game, there's not a lot of people that are going to be able to come back out of that. But yeah, Uta blocker, again, what I meant earlier is my build right now is geared towards the end game, because I feel like that's where, at least for me, Law struggles the most. Like early game, mid game, you're lights out. There's not really, I feel like, any other deck that is good as us early and mid game. It's just like late game is where things go bad, because we just kind of can't sustain the pace the entire time. So that's why I have Uta and Luffy, because again, going off on why I dropped Kid is just because I have Ain, the boys, and Beppo all giving me Don, so that's 12 cards that are giving us Don, plus Zorojuro as well, like early game Zoro, so that's another one, so 16 technically that give us Don. So that's why then I have Uta, because Uta late game, that -1 is nuts, because like there's no, against the top decks in the game, there's nobody that runs a block that has a blocker that's over 5 cost. So if they put down a blocker, they put down, if you're playing Purple Luffy, they put down a Kid blocker. If you're playing NL, they get like any of their silly little ones like Sanchi or something like that. If you're playing Sakazuki, they play Borsellino or Rebecca even. They attack you, you -1 Don, you rest that, and then, especially if you're then able to keep Uta alive, it's just a massive game swing at the end of the game, because then if you have bodies on the board, you're then swinging at them, and normally at that point too, they should ideally be down to like 1 or 0 life, and it just helps me win. And then also too, now I got Luffy, so we can drop Luffy, and Luffy's ability is just the nuts. It's just unblockable, so if you're feeling confident, especially if you got your opponent's hand low, you just drop this card. Doesn't matter if they're blockers or not, you just win, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I wanted to prioritize too, also just keep getting a bunch of bodies that are like low, so no matter what, if I want to play super aggro and bring out tons of bodies just repeatedly, I can. So almost everybody is here. The only cards that are above like that are, we just have 2 Ace and 2 Luffy. Everyone else I can Shambles in, and it's sick. And it's just been, at least right now, working for me, because I can just maintain such an aggressive, like, just getting characters out and being very, very strong with board control. And then obviously a couple Rad Beams, because Rad Beam is just a game-changing card. Like if it's just really good, especially keeping it for late game. Again, like Purple Luffy, RP Luffy, Whitebeard, late games are going to hit with higher stuff, and this just lets you keep something. And Fire Fist as well, because how I look at events, like Gordon and Otama are basically event cards. So this is a minus 2,000, you're minus 3,000. Then I got a couple Fire Fists in here for minus 4,000, but this is just kind of built in because you had to KO with 0 or less, so you can do a little double. But feel free to again, you can adjust characters numbers as well, add more events and stuff like that. Just you just gotta find your balance and what works for you and how you feel. That's the most important thing, is build RP Law against how you like to play. It may be discouraging and stuff, but if you're finding success with your build like consistently, then keep up with it. Like do not look at my videos, my build, and think you got something wrong just because it's like different than mine and stuff like that. It's like that idea just does not exist with RP Law. There's so many good builds that function great. Like there's plenty of other people that have good builds, and I'll throw down a couple other RP Law like creators that I know. I got like 3 that I put in the description and shout them out. They're all different builds for me. Like Jansuko, it's like TeamPDC, and Dr. Shambles. So shouts out them. I'll put them in the description if you guys want to check out their stuff and see their different builds and how they operate from mine. And like, because again, I think RP Law, try to get as many different POVs, play styles, perspectives if you can, because it'll really help you figure out what you like and like how you want to play this deck. Because again, you can build this deck however you want. You just have to evaluate, like, get the reps in, find what people you're beating. Like if you're straight dummying Sakazuki consistently, but then you're getting washed by Enel, make adjustments, but then just understand when you make the adjustments, you'll give up some to Sakazuki to increase the gains on Enel. So you just got to find an operating zone that you're most comfortable with, if that makes the most sense. Because again, all the builds, you can build RP Law to beat anybody consistently, but then you'll just lose to someone else. So you just got to find your window of success that works for you, because again, any build can kind of work out, and that's why I've got this going on right now, because it's just fun for me and gives me a better opportunity of beating people. Just because again, especially with the rush characters, like late game, if you're able to get like save Zoro and Luffy late game, it's just nuts, because there's not a lot of people don't expect that and don't play around that, because they're playing around like having another turn, so it's just massive. But yeah, give you guys a little update, and then we'll jump into some Law gameplay here. And yeah, expect in-depth video on NL coming at some point. Well, I'll get to it, but I do want to get back into doing some of the other stuff as well. So like budget videos and stuff like that, just to kind of keep the content a little diversified, and so I don't get like burnt out on RP Law and stuff like that either. Because I do like the game, is super fun, and I like playing with all the other decks and just being able to jump around. So yeah, expect that. But obviously RP Law is my main and will always be my main for this set, and right now this is the build I got going on. But yeah, jump into some games, show you guys how my build and stuff works, and we'll just have some fun. Alright, we're playing against Sanji, or NL. We got Sanji, is what I meant to say. So, draw a card, draw it down. They just decided to go first, which we're okay with, because we got Sanji, and we can just go for it. And, crucially, aim to ace as well, so let's see how this goes. So they're just going to launch an 8k on us. All good with that. Ooh, we get the boys as well. So draw a card here. We're down to 3. So let's first just launch a 5-on-5. Alright, that's actually big. So I'm going to throw Aang down, and then we'll take a life, attack them again, 7-on-5. So that gets us down immediately to 2, which is nice because it kind of gives us a bunch of stuff here. They get the Sanji blocker. That's a bit annoying, but rather than get that now, because we're now able to drop ace next turn, which is going to be very, very big, very, very large for us. We have 7, so Gadatsu, Sanji's gone. But it's okay. Sanji did his job. Got us a 2, so to protect all of our other characters. So they're going to attack us. I'm going to do this. Play around our life a little bit, because don't need Zoro at this time. So draw a card, draw a Don. We're sitting very nicely here at 7. I just need to get them down to 1 this turn. So we got to drop Ace. Bang, bang. And then that gives us there. I'll launch with Ain first. Because if they sack Sanji, we're okay with that. Because then I can get Gadatsu out as well. Because either way, I'm probably going to get Gadatsu out just because of... don't want to worry about the shenanigans. So they do that, which is okay. And then we'll attack them again. Alright, we get them down to that. Now I'll do the -3. 1, 2, 3. Get rid of that guy. So we're at 4. We're going to bring in Uta here. And then next turn, we're going to go for it. Because if they attack, I can use Uta. We have plenty of 2Ks. I can rest Sanji as well. They're only at 7. So they can't play any of their crazy cards like Yamato and stuff like that. So we'll see. And I have 2 2Ks with the boys here. Alright, of course they have Amaru. Never mind. That kind of ruins that. So what are they at? 8? I mean, if they only attack for 8, I could risk it. His next turn. Oh, dang it. They're throwing 9 on. Alright, I don't think I can risk it now. Alright, well, that's a bit annoying. Yeah, probably shouldn't. But not much we can do there. Oh. Wait, they're attacking with Sanji. Okay, that's actually wild. No, I'm just going to block that then. Because if they're playing that desperate, I feel like there's like no shot that they have cards to block out with, you know, if I get them down. So they're at what? This? So they have to have big cards. So I feel like that means they don't have. So let's just lead 7 on 5. And then I'm attacking another 7 on 5. Well, depending on what they got here, I guess. Because we have this. Okay. Well, that's potentially a bailout for them. So they trash Enel. Alright. Alright, let's attack him again, 7 on 5. Okay, I thought they had L4 maybe, but I guess not. So, interesting. So, play that on them. Then we're going to go 1, 2, 3. Get them out of here. Where am I sitting at Don-wise? So, I have 2. If I bring in Ain, we'll be at 4. That puts us at 6 for next turn. And then I have these 2 to potentially keep someone alive. Unless I want to block. But I think we do Ain. Just to get the extra Don. And then go from there. Because they're at 9. If they play Yamato, okay, I mean, kind of okay with that. Because they can't do anything. All they can do is attack me. So, do I take this, though? For, like, no. Alright, cool. We got him. Oh, man, if I would have taken it, we got Rush Luffy, it would have been definite GG's there. Because, yeah, they had no counter. And there we go, beating Enel. So, yeah, that turn, if I would have got Katakuri and Shura, it would have been what they got after that would have mattered. But we've been chilling really good because, again, Knew that was coming. Again, against Enel, you just got to get used to reading like what they're doing. And the biggest play of the game that changed it was I can't see, but them attacking with their Sanji blocker. Like that's a sign to me that they're desperate that they need to get rid of the characters on the board, because that means they don't have the counter in the hand. If you ever like see that, it's like a game read to know that you still could be in trouble, because if the game goes on long enough, what that means and what that is a sign of is that they have all their high cost cards. Because yeah, Yamato, Enel, Katakuri, like all of them have no counter. And they run a bunch of them in their deck because like once they get to the later turns, they can just drop one after another, and that's what makes them like go late game against Enel. It was almost impossible to beat. But if you're able to sense that and notice how they're playing up until that point, that's like your sign that they don't have the counter in hand, really. And like obviously they got bailed out a little bit with they had the Amara at the right time, and then they got this from their life, but that's how it goes. Again, if you're able to play, depending on how they play, especially also too early, if that's the other sign. Since they attacked us right away early, that was another sign that they didn't have like the Gadatsu and like Yamato right away. Because a lot of times if they have these cards in their hand, immediately they won't attack your life and they'll try to hand starve you out. But if they do attack you, that's a sign that they don't, and then that's the flip the switch of just going super aggressive on them. And that's what you want to do. But yeah, we get a little W against Enel, which is cool. And feel good about that. Hitting the A into ace as well. Absolutely massive in this matchup. Like the going second, bang bang. Because ace is just immediate pressure again. Ace has 2 Gordons built in. So you drop it. I know it's a large commitment, but also though too, if you do drop ace, it's kind of good because then you're already operating in like the optimal down range, and you pretty much will be for the rest of the game. Then it just kind of goes from there. Luckily we got that, because yeah, next turn we would have had 6. We would have to hit them. I mean, it would have worked out because of their life here, because that's only 1. That's only 1. So we would have been chilling. All right, here we go. A little law v law action. I'm only getting out of this. That's a bit better. Then we'll end our turn. I'm trying to think of what we should do here. So we're going first. Even though we can drop 3/4, I think I'm just gonna smack him for 8k, because there's not much they can do about that. And then we'll get into like removal and stuff next turn. Just because in the matchup against Law, it pretty much depends on who has the most like Don replenishing stuff with like Beppo and them. So it kind of comes down to that. And if they drop something, then we can kind of keep going back and forth from there. But my biggest issue is I just straight up don't have I just need a power reducer and we'll be chilling. So they got that. So they have 1. They're gonna -3. We can take this. All right. I mean, Ain's good, but I don't need Ain. Okay, they didn't minus the 3. Interesting. So they have 7. That means I gotta throw this down off the rip. Bang. Go to 2 of their cards. That leaves me with this. And I can bring in someone else here. Problem is I don't have a power reducer to get rid of this. So, Oive on that. Let's attack them though, 6 and 5. We at least can play defense. Alright, Rad Beam. Interesting. 1, 2, 3. We'll just bring in the boys here. But yeah, no Gordon, Otama, or Fire Fist, or Film Law. Bit of a little bit of an issue, but it is what it is. We'll take this one. Get another Ain. I mean, Ain is helpful. Well, what are they at? 6? Well, if I get a Gordon or something, it pretty much changes the outcome of the game here. Alright, they're throwing on wire. So we'll be at 5 next turn. Have Zoro as well we can go into. So we'll see. 7 on 5. Sure, we'll take that. Okay, cool. We got a Gordo. But if they leave the 1 up, I guess that means they have another Rad Beam. Alright, so yeah, they got another. And we get Otama. Alright, we may be able to bring this back. Slightly. We'll see. We'll see what we can do. Alright, well, to start off, let's do 6 and 4. Alright, that's pretty nice. And then, how do we want to go about this the rest of the way? Because if I drop Zoro, I can attack them. So, let's do 5 on 5 first. Okay, so they take 1. I gotta drop Zoro. Minus our 3. And then bring in... Probably bring in Ain just to keep Beppo as like the 1k counter. So let's drop Zoro. Then we'll go 1, 2, 3. Go to this. Bring in Ain. And then throw 1 on Zoro here. Attack him 6 and 5. So if they have 1 and have Rad Beam, maybe. Alright, so there's another Rad Beam. That's fine. And we'll just go from there. So now we're sitting in a spot where I've got plenty of counter to keep people up. And to protect my life here, so... Just kind of depends on how many characters we keep for the next turn, because I'm going to be at 5. So if I can swing a couple 7s and stuff, we'll be chilling. Alright, so they got Zoro and Queen, which isn't a problem. They got 1. I mean, if they don't have an Otama or Gordon, this is actually kind of massive right now. They trashed Gordon. Okay, Otama. Alright. Dang, I got another Zoro. That's a good thing we have plenty of counters. So we're gonna be chilling. Wait, 5 on 5, they're attacking us. I'll do that. Like, just in case. 5 on 5 again. I mean, depending on what I get here, we could just win the game next turn. Okay. Um, 2Ks. We'll do that. Very, very interesting. So how do I want to go about this? Because I play Gordo, get this down. Dang, if we had another rush, that'd be killer. Probably should drop Uta and the other Uta. So let's do that, and then we'll just go for the game with everyone else. Just a bunch of, we'll have to do some 5Ks, but it is what it is.
So deploy this. Do that. Just because I don't want him to be able to block anything out. Because just to be secure. So we'll do this. Minus the 3, 1, 2, 3. Get rid of that. Then bring in another Uta. So now we're chilling. We got 4 attackers here. What I'm gonna do is wipe their board. It's impossible for them to get rid of both. And they have no counter, so I know they don't have Rad Beam going. Alright. Attack him again, 5 and 5. Alright, so they have 2 cards in hand. Should I, we could end it. Because then it makes it pretty much impossible. Because I have 6k, so I can block an 11 if needed be. And then we have the Otamas as well if they put anything sneaky next turn. So let's just do that. This will be at 7. So depending on their options here, it's not a whole lot they can do. Alright, Kid. That's fine. It's actually great, because I can use Uta, rest him, and then use my stuff to block out. And then we don't have to worry about cost removal next turn. Alright, Fire Fisting. Fire Fisting our 1 Uta. Fine with that. So the only thing that'd be stinky is if they get another, if their other card's a blocker. Alright, they don't have a character card, so pretty massive here. And there we go. There we go. Alrighty. So we only have the 3 Dawn, which, you know, not the best, but this is rested. I get to swing a bunch of times at him. So we'll lead off with a 5 on 5. Since they didn't bring in a character, unless they're saving it for the counter, that is more than likely something else. Alright, they take 1. So now... Oh, we got plenty of other... We'll do another 5. Because I know whatever card this is in their hand isn't looking too great. So now we got them down. Let's swing at 7 on them. Yeah, looks like we're chilling. Got the GG. I'll give him a GG too out of respect. RP Law respect. But yeah, there you go. I mean, just being able to work around the deck and stuff just because I do feel like at this point I know the Law deck and stuff super well. So it's like in the mirror, it's kind of fun because you like straight up can figure out what they got. But yeah, big tell though because... Again at the end there, when they went for the Uta, knew they had more than likely like an event or something like Gordo, because unless they were saving like the 2k, I guess. But yeah, that's the situations though where changing up your game plan and adjusting in the game is sometimes what you have to do based on your hand and stuff. So very happy to get a game like this to show you guys like at least my thought process and everything. Instead of going for it,
went for the hand starve like route, just because didn't want to, because we're operating on lower Don there in the mirror, because you want to be pretty aggressive with removal if you can. And depending on what the last 2 cards were, it looks like it wouldn't have mattered, but I didn't know, like we don't know what was in their life. But not to risk them getting the way to counter out, and then if you go for it all the previous turn, potentially setting it up so then they can be go for stuff. But also too got helped out a bit because they did not prioritize board control like at all, which in the matchup you have to like with Law, you're gonna win a bunch of games if you prioritizing wiping out their board, because again, wiping out their board also limits what they can do with their Don. Like this is for like any deck, like anybody you're playing. Like always, like the default rule for me that I go by, like if I'm not sure what to do, like if I'm not confident in risking it to go for the game, prioritizing board control is like the smartest and like safest thing to do. Because again, most of the decks you're playing against, the only time when you don't want to do that is if you're playing like a rush deck. Because again, every other deck that doesn't do rush, they need to turn a setup, so you can play around that if you need to buy yourself some time. But yeah, playing the board control for us, and if you're in the mirror, is big, because again, remember, like we don't have that much defense like at all. So if you're attacking just 5-on-5s, you put them in a tough spot of like if they try to protect, that then hampers their offense the upcoming turn and stuff like that as well. But again, if you get a bunch of characters out, that goes for the same principle, is at the end game and stuff, you only need to be able to swing 5-on-5 because of we don't run that much defense outside of Rad Beam. And it's easy to tell if they have a Rad Beam because that's the only card or the only counter that's going to be left up, so you can play around that as well. Because yeah, that's how we knew about these ones. But still, good game. And yeah, nice little mirror win with our deck build. Feels good, and especially yeah, and I'm happy too. I got to showcase you guys Uta's power, like absolutely crazy. Being able to just you minus the 1, you get a rest 5 or lower, and against almost basically every deck in the game, that's all blockers. So end game, if they have a blocker out, you rest Uta, or you block with Uta and use the on block -1, just absolutely killer, and it's so sick and very very good. Because then also too, if you have the counter that keep Uta up like we did with Sanji, then you just get another attacker the next turn, and it's just it completely can switch the game around. And yeah, that's what we did there. So yeah, mirror matchup W with our build. Let's move on to the next. Alrighty, here we go. Purple Luffy action. They chose to go first. I'm gonna keep this just because we can go very aggro, and I'm kind of a fan of that. Do we drop Sanji? Because they're going to attack us next turn. You know what? Why not? Let's try. We're going to try a little Sanji action on Purple Luffy. And let's see if... I'm going to try to be super, super aggro on them and just attacking them relentlessly is my plan here. As they're at 4. Let's see what they do. Because, yeah, I could swing a bunch. So they got ulti and page 1. I mean, that's alright. And then we'll take 1. That's actually pretty big, pretty massive, not gonna lie. Get another Sanji, which is cool. So I could drop this Law, minus this down immediately. And then we can bring in the boys here, which I think I'm gonna do. So, but let me attack leader first. Let's just see, 5-on-5. So again, if we get their hand down, that'd be great. Okay, they take a life. Interesting. And so we'll deploy this onto there. And then we'll go 1, 2, 3. Ulti out of here. Bring in the boys. And now watch us go bananas mode here. Bang. And now we're sitting there. We get them down to 2, which is pretty cool. And we'll see what they do, because we got another Sanji to block out if they attack his base. They're only at 5. We already got them down to 2 life. So if they want to ramp, they'd go down to 1.
should be pretty big. In 5, we got this as well. So if they put in a blocker like queen or something, we can get rid of them immediately. So we'll do that. Let's attack with page 1 here. I got Sanji to block. Because again, against Purple Luffy, you want to keep the life going, the life up. All right, so that's actually big as well, because now I can go bang, bang. Keep us at 2 for the end game. All right, they got this again. I mean, all right, if they're doing that again, I can get them. I have 2. They're only going to be at 6 next turn. I may, if I launch 3 6s at this guy, I can then Fire Fist this one out, bring in the boys again, and then they still can only attack with a couple. So 6 on 6. Unless, no, that won't work. Let's do this. Okay, nice. Because now I can launch one at them. And then I have Fire Fist to get this guy out and bring in the boys. So 6 on 5. Okay, they don't have anything to counter onto that. They're in trouble. Not gonna lie. 1, 2, 3. Get them out. Because yeah, we're only at 2. Bringing the boys gets us back up to 4. End our turn. They're only gonna be at 6. Not a lot of options for them. And then we could, since we have the 2, we could stall, do aim to ace as well. But I mean, we'll be at 6, so I don't need to do aim to ace. But I have no clue what is in their hand, though. This is kind of insane. They're playing like this. We're already down to 1. I can just launch some big old attacks next turn. Yeah, let's just block out of that. And then 5 on 5, so I can leave them with 6. Okay. Because again, now they're only at 6, so there's not a whole lot they can do. We get Beppo here. I mean, I could just wail on them. Does I have 6? Alright, let's just try to draw something out real quick. See what they do, because I'm at 6. If I go down to 3, 4, that again. Very interesting play. Okay, I was not expecting that at all. Because now attack them twice. Attack this one first. 7 on 5. Because again, they're at what, 6? They can't get Kaido next turn. Already, so that leaves us with 2. This is rested, so I go for them, get them to burn something, and bring in somebody. Next turn we can still go for whatever. Either way, I get them to burn something though. But this is better. Let's just attack that. Get them to burn their counters, or if this is a counter card, I guess. So Blast Breath, where they have to -1 again. Kind of okay with that. 1, 2, 3. We'll bring in Beppo. So we'll be at 6 again next turn. They're down 7, which is cool. I should have brought in A and kept Beppo as the counter. Didn't think about that. A little goof. But again, if I have 2 stuff here, we can do some high attacks. I still have the 2 life as well. So we'll see. See how it goes. So they have 7. Okay. Bringing in Kid. Interesting. So 7 on 5. Can't do anything about that. Alrighty. So that means they don't have... So I have 6, they have 7. So I'm just going to launch 3 7s at them. And we'll go from there. So 7 on 6. Because next turn, they would get to... Maybe... So 7 on 6 again. Alright, we get them down. And 7 on 6 again. So I'm at 7. So we get them to do that. So I'm at 7. If I'm minus 3, 4, bring in A, like this is a 5. And the next turn we can pivot into ace if we need to, if they bring in a blocker. So we'll do that. Because they only can attack a couple times. So 1, 2, 3. Bring in Ain. So yeah, now we're at 5. We can got a couple little options here, because they don't get out multiple blockers, they lose. Because even if they drop Kaido, they can't beat us. Because again, 2 life. If you stay around 2 life, you can withstand kind of anything from Purple Luffy late game. And also, it just takes advantage of their like leader ability. So they're attacking me 5 on 5. So I'm just gonna block out of this, and that should do it. It's very strange. They're gonna drop Kaido. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why they did that. That they lose. So 10 on 5. That's fine. Yeah. Nothing you could do there. Is yeah, they're playing very minus Donnie in this deck, which is I feel like a detriment to Purple Luffy. I feel like you don't want that much minus Don cards in here, just because your ability to ramp up involves taking a card from your life. So in that equivalent, if you're then minusing Don a bunch, that's like your life and stuff is gone. But yeah, no, Purple Luffy. Normally, you can always win. Again, just prioritize it. If you get bodies out. Like, they're not as hard as, like, RP Luffy because they're only at the 5k, so you can just launch multiple attacks at them. Just get them to burn through all their stuff in their hand. Like, they had the ulti page 1, which is also interesting, too, because that's another minus 1 Don. That's a lot. Their counter is minus 1 Don as well. That's pretty wild and wacky. But, yeah, if you're able to keep up relentless aggression, especially early mid-game, like, again, all their other cards at their end, they're heavy hitters, Kid, Kaido, Magellan, stuff like that, don't have counter. So they have to use their like early game, mid game cards to like counter out if you do attack them, which is pretty big, because then early mid game you're just free attacks because they're not going to be able to get anything out, and then they have to then prioritize using the ramp to get out like blockers and stuff. But even with blockers, if you still have the board control aggression, you're chilling. But yeah, golden rule against Purple Luffy: keep yourself at 2 life. Like you gotta flip it on its head against like everyone else. Like you have to prioritize your 2 life over your characters. Like early game doesn't really matter. Like it's your decision. It'll like whatever you're feeling. If you think blocking out then is better to keep you going later, or vice versa, if you need the cards, you can take 2 early, but then you have to stay at 2. Because Kaido normally is coming, and we don't have a way to stop a 10k unless you have like a rad beam and a 2k, but that's like a very small chance of happening. So just being able to do that, because yeah, they're gonna drop Kaido minus or down, KO something you have, and then attack you. So being at the 2 keeps you at 1, and then it lets you set up. It gives you regardless another turn, and no matter what, normally when they get Kaido out, like, there's not a whole lot. They're going to be low on life. So that pretty much is like the game. Them going for game of dropping Kaido, going for it. But if you, again, have 2 life, then you're good to make it through. Because Kaido's all their Don. So even if they have their other heavy hitters like Kid could hit you down to 1. But then they're only going to attack for 5. Be able to attack for like 5k with Luffy.
and then as long as you don't have like a terrible luck, you're gonna have something to block, and then it would give you a next turn. Which normally, if you're able to survive their Kaido drop, I feel like you almost always win. Like, cause once they drop Kaido, they KO a character, and then they just go for it. That's their only option. They like have to go for it because Kaido minus the 5 Don, it's a huge setback for them the rest of the game. If they can't withstand it, because again, all these are going to be rested for the next turn, and then even after that, they won't be operating too well. But yeah, that's how you kind of withstand the Kaido though against Purple Luffy. It's pretty cool, pretty fun. And yeah, this is my current little deck build running around with, and it's one to use. It fits my personal playstyle because I like just like flying at people. It's just really satisfying just to be just dropping characters and then setting up stuff to just be relentless on them, and you just really wear them down. Because playing with RP Law, there's like other dynamics of the game. Because I feel like you play, key things to look at is obviously their life that goes down, but also their hand. Because since we're operating and we got a minus Don, getting rid of stuff out of their hand, and the lower the hand number that your opponent has, the more likely you're going to win with Law. Just because we don't have any like super big heavy hitters, and you're just going to be swinging a lot with like 5, 6, maybe 7k attacks. And the lower you get their hand, the better for you. Because then again, our strength is getting bodies out on the board, so we can launch multiple attacks. And the more Don you have, especially later in the game, like if you're operating right in like that optimal, say anywhere between like the 4, 5, 6, 7 range, like right the mid range, you're gonna be looking good because there's not too many people, unless you just have insane luck with 2k counters, that are gonna be able to block out from that many attacks, and it's super cool. But yeah, just wanted to give you guys a little update. This is like my personal build. However, you'll definitely be seeing a bunch of different RP Law builds because I just like RP Law and the dynamic, and I like mess around with other builds and stuff just to give you guys options, because I don't believe in the idea that there's going to be there's one deck for RP Law. Like how with all the other like top decks, there's just like the one set out thing. I truly don't believe that there's like an option for that with RP Law, just because we don't have dedicated Heart Pirate cards. There's just not enough, so there's not a way to do that. So you can that's like the disadvantage and the advantage of RP Law, is then it allows you to build your deck to be like the anti-deck. So you can build it to just absolutely dummy Sakazuki, but if you do that, then you're going to give up stuff against like Enel, and like vice versa. Like you can build this deck to beat any deck in the game, but you just have to be able to balance and understand the risk. So like the strengths that you have in your build against a certain deck is then going to be a weakness against a different deck. So it just takes time, and honestly, again, RP Law literally, as long as you have like the core structure, you can really get away with it, because it's just about how you play your opponents. Because again, your play style has to completely change depending on who you're playing. Because again, like NL, earlier in the video, you want to drop your life down as low as possible, down to like a 1-0, like 2-1-0, super quick, and just to avoid their Yamato and their Gadatsu and stuff like that. And then, however, Purple Luffy's the exact opposite. You need to prioritize your life, because then end game, you can't afford to take hits from their bigger characters, because they're going to ramp up really fast if they get the stuff. And yeah, you just have to constantly. It just takes time, because again, there's no setup. We don't have like a dedicated setup or anything like that like the other decks do. There's not. You just have to adjust to who you're playing, and that's the hardest part, because it's super easy, and it's like something I struggle with too. Because if you're playing, like if I'm playing against Sakazuki a bunch, and I'm just like, doing our regular Sakazuki strats, then I go up against and play against like Purple Luffy or like RP Luffy or something like that. Sometimes I'm just in the muscle like memory motions, and I just play like I would like instinctively against Sakazuki and completely forget, and that kind of messes me up sometimes too. But it just takes a lot of practice, a lot of reps, and yeah. Again, this is just a super nerdy deck. You just got to learn like what the goals and stuff are against like your opponents, like what their deck is and how it operates, and you just got to do your best to take advantage of that. Because yeah, for me and this deck build, feel pretty strong against Sakazuki and Purple Luffy. Like Purple Luffy, I'm not gonna lie, I have not lost to Purple Luffy in a hot minute. It's been very, very, very good. I don't know, maybe I'm just getting lucky, but knowing how to play around their stuff and the fact that if I play against them like how I would against RP Luffy, I feel like I just dummy them because there's not like a lot of stuff they can do against me. Like, and then it's even stronger because like RP Luffy, you have to play around Don and attacking 6Ks. But for Purple Luffy, you can just launch 5Ks, and then you have all this extra down to get even more bodies out, and you can just keep just being relentless on them. And then once you get them burning through their hand, then you kind of nullify their leader ability. Because once you make them at the point where they have to then prioritize their life, and you just completely take away their ability for them not to be able to ramp up, pretty much just takes them out of the game. Because then if they can't ramp up, then they have to play slow. And if they have to play slow, they just can't keep up with our pace, especially with the bodies out. So yeah, Purple Luffy, I mean, it still is tough because if they get some like crazy stuff, like if they get Magellan, drop them, minus your 1 Don, because if they catch you, if you're a little too aggressive like early and like low Don, Magellan can definitely mess you up. So that's why I just kind of operate, you want to keep operating ideally to not have to worry about like Magellan and stuff like that. If you again can operate mid-range Don, you'll be chilling. But yeah, there is beating Purple Luffy, and yeah, quick little, well, not really quick, just if you wanted to get a couple matches and stuff, show you guys where I'm running at with my personal deck and future of like the RP Law videos and what my plan and everything is. And yeah, I'm super excited to be able to build RP Law, and also hope you guys tuning in, enjoying. Hope you guys are figuring out success as well, even if your build is completely different than mine. Again, if you're RP Law, we're all on the same team. I could care less what build you are using as long as you're getting the dubs. That's all that matters. But yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.